Good morning, this is Ron Brown. I'm doing this on the morning of October 3rd, 2025. It's Friday. The market has been open for, I don't know, 45, I'm sorry, a little over an hour. And I want to talk more about this scan volume spikes. Remember, the market is your teacher. It's all there in front of you. It's heavily manipulated. But if you want to participate, you have to be willing to take on the risk. Okay, as always, standard risk disclaimer. Any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Okay, I'm coming back to something that I've talked about before because I think it's really valuable and I'm going to add to it. I have my folder up here called My Working Scans. These are scans that I'm using and testing, and I am going to go back to the volume spikes. Now, if you haven't created a folder called My Working Scans, and I think you should, just to concentrate on scans that you like, just create the folder and then drop the folders that you're using into that folder. Now, if you go down to my name and you go to the categories and go to volume price analysis, you can just drag that whole thing up. But if you're interested only in the volume spikes, just go down to number 7 and drag it up. Now, this is a quick pick view. You can only drag using the Choose Create Warehouse view. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to go down into I'm in the Choose Create Warehouse view, and I'm going into my category scans, and let's say that I want category 11 to go into my working scans. 52-week high, I just drag it up there, and it is in here. Now, I'd probably renumber it, or maybe not, but anyway, that's all there is to it, and then you can concentrate rather than looking at all these categories. Now, I don't want it there, so I'm just going to delete it. And I'm going to concentrate on volume spikes because I've been tracking this now for, I don't know, several months or several weeks anyway, and the same stocks keep coming up. Not the same stocks, let me qualify that, but stocks do happen to reappear. So let's just take a look at the volume spike scan. And the way I have it set up, and let's go back to the quick pick. I'm in all securities here. This is the end of day. And this is 01. 1A is this same data. If you look up here, 150 securities. And if I go to the intraday, you can see it's still 152. So it's looking or using the same data as the end of day yesterday. So here's end of day, sorted on raw combo, and here's intraday. So the same group of stocks, but the ones that are following through on intraday are going to be appearing here. Now this one, number 2, is today's data. In other words, I'm not linked to these other scans right here, and you can see there are if you look up here in the upper left hand corner, you can see there are 230 stocks that are passing this, and look what's on top, Rigetti Computing. If I go back to volume spikes, end of day, let's see, Rigetti, was that in there yesterday? Yeah, well, here it is right here out of the 152. It's number 2 on here, but if I'm just using today's data, it's at the top of the list. And you can see there's another quantum stock up here also. I want to point out that Rigetti has been coming up for a long time. Look at this. 18 days ago, it crossed over. So I'm going to make this full screen. Where's the crossover? Clear back here. And that was an effort to rise. The volume spike didn't appear on the crossover, but it did right here on the pocket pivots. And this is where it really started its move around the $20 mark. And look where it is today. It's almost a double. And it's still going. All this blue area here shows volume pocket pivot. There was a down day here, and so that bar came up red. But yesterday it appeared again, and it's taking off. So why is it at the top of the list? Well, that has to do with the combo ranking. I'm going to edit this, and you can see how I put this combo rank together. Where is this stock compared to the 52-week low? I've weighted this at 2. The intraday one-day change weighted at 2, 15.4%. Where is it in the 52-week range? 15.4%. Where is it relative to the 100, the 200, the 50, and the 18? These are all weighted at 7.7%. So you can see this combo is looking for very strong stocks based upon these weightings the fields and the weightings that I've given to it. FAN is up. BPA best fit trend percent is up. So this combo looks for strong stocks, even though they may have moved. But Rigetti has been near the top of the list for days now, if not weeks. I went in and ran the group inclusion report with the symbol RGTI to see. I've been keeping these files for a couple of months now. See where it first appeared. It started appearing clear back in July, but you can see there are several instances here in September. So I'm going to look at the chart for September 12th, which would be right. Now let's make this. What is the date right here? Okay, if you look clear over here in the lower left-hand corner, that's the 12th. This is where it started appearing right here with this volume spike, and it's appeared several times, and look at it, it continues to go. So if it appeared here, 3-6 crossover here, if it appeared here at around $20, it's 100% up, or right around 100% already. And this is not atypical of stocks that are passing this screen, or I should say scan, not screen. So anyway, let me get rid of this, reapply today's filter, and you can see that today's data, Rigetti is still on top of the list. Let's look at D-Wave, QBTS, and this one, same group. Look at it. I'm going to go into, see if I can do this quickly. Type in symbol. Edit this. QBTS. Okay. Let's run this. Use this symbol. See if we get a hit on it. Now this one has only come up twice, but where did it come up on the 17th? It's actually only come up once before, on the 17th. So let's look at the 17th on QBTS. Which is right here on this big move up. You can see the 3-6 crossed right here, but if you're just looking for big volume spikes, this is where it occurred, or at least in the list that I saved. So it's made a nice run, 22 up to 33. But my point is, these stocks that have big volume spikes often continue to go higher, especially when you get a group of stocks like this. These are quantum computing stocks. So the combo rank intraday, you can see that it has a strong tendency to bring the strongest stocks to the top of the list. USAR. I don't know where this one started appearing, but volume spike here, and it continues to follow through. Now here's one the U.S. government's involved in. I don't think they should be, but that's just the way it is. Market manipulation at its finest for the insiders. Now you may not want to just chase some of these stocks that may not have any decent fundamentals, but I'm going to show you that you can apply this volume spike scan elsewhere. I'm just going to use intraday data, but rather than using all securities, let's just go down here to the smart groups. Let's go to Woodward and Brown. I'm looking at stocks that passed the Woodward and Brown 52-week high yesterday, and let's see if anything appears today. So I'm using this smart group. This is today's data, and you can see, well, look what's on top. Rigetti, D-Wave. I didn't know this. I'm just doing this on the fly. So these stocks were hitting 52-week highs. Anyway, here's ONDS. It hit a 52-week high yesterday, and it continues higher. Let's just work our way down. How about Best of Woodward and Brown? Rigetti, ONDS are appearing in both of these smart groups. Best stocks under $15. What do we have here? ONDS DFLI. Let's look at it. Wow. Little cheap stock, but you can see that it has been moving up from this point on, 40 cents to 1.70. My point is, you can use other groups, my user smart groups, or any group that you've created, and narrow down your list if you're more comfortable looking at, for example, growth stocks. InterDigital and Shopify. Let's just look at InterDigital here. Look at this. It's appearing today. It's an expensive stock. How about Shop? Also an expensive stock, but it is meeting the criteria in the growth stock category and also the volume spike scan. There are literally dozens of ways that you can screen for stocks using a combination of a scan or one of my scans and the combo ranking, and then just limit what you're looking at. Let's go to stocks and groups moving to the upside from yesterday. So these are stocks that are following through, and here's some familiar names, right? These are all coming up by applying the volume spike scan to stocks and groups moving to the upside. If you want to limit to the 1 to 15 group, look at that. There's a whole bunch of them that are passing stocks and groups moving to the upside from yesterday that are following through today. I know I throw a lot of information at you, but I just want to show you the flexibility and the value of a volume spike scan when applied to other groups. If you like to follow Jeffrey, here's 5 times big volume. What came up? Something never heard of, but anyway, how about 3 times big volume? There's a couple of stocks right here that are following through. $1,850 if you have that kind of change in your pocket. How about mobile breakout? Anything come through on this? Rigetti, D-Wave, but they're following through on the mobile breakout today, but I showed you how long ago these stocks actually broke out. Here's SoundHound coming back. I don't want to belabor the point. I just want to show you that these scans are very flexible, that can be applied to other groups. I'm going to look at one more. How about strong earnings per share? Near relative strength, near a 52-week high, and look what we have, RGTI and MVST. Nice chart on this MVST. Okay, I'm going to do one more here. I'm going to go back to the Woodward and Brown. I'm going to look at the high profit market stocks. and I'm still in the volume spike. So these, it's an expensive stock, but look how this has been moving up, and it passes the volume spike scan. Let's look at the fundamentals. Look at the earnings and revenue growth. So if you want to limit yourself to high profit margin stocks, you can do that. Let's look at Reddit. Look at the earnings growth on here. It's pulled back. What's it doing today? It's up 4.58%, trading mid-range. Now the demand is really not there yet, but the point is you can scan using a combination of smart groups, users groups, your own groups, whatever, and just limit the number of, or to limit the number of stocks that you're looking at. That's all I'm going to do, and I'll talk about this more in the future, but you should be looking at these scans. Volume spikes 150%.